You're alive.
Okay, it's Senate Education Committee, May 16th, 3 o'clock, just exited a hearing with the Appropriations Committee, and we are here to hear proposed floor amendment on H 480. And we have with us Senator Harvey for that purpose. Explain to us what the proposal is.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the committee for having me in. This is amendment to H 480, which is the Federal Miscellaneous Education Bill. It's co-sponsored by all of the senators from the Addison and Rutland district. And it relates to everyone's favorite topic, career and technical education. And the situation is that the Hannaford Career Center, which is the career center in Addison County, that serves 4 school districts in the Addison County area, has many openings. I think around 200 spots that they could fill. They've just renovated their building. It's really beautiful. Senator Williams and I have taken a tour. I think Senator Heffernan, you've also been there, and also are a graduate of the Hannaford Career Center.
83.
Yeah, and so it's a great facility. It's been renovated. It was and it has a huge array of career technical education programs. My own daughter did 2 of them. So it's just a really great program, but they have a lot of vacancies, in large part because it only covers 3 school districts, and with declining enrollments, it hasn't had as many students there. So on the flip side, down in Rutland County, I think it's the Stafford, is that what it's called? The Stafford Career Center has a waiting list, and their waiting list is about as long as the number of vacancies at the Hannaford Career Center. There has been, let's say, some challenges with the 2 programs sort of communicating and getting aligned in order to help move those students into slots up at the Hannaford Career Center. Some of it's involved finances, some of it's involved communication about who students are, and some of it's involved transportation. So this amendment basically would make it clear, and Beth, I'm not sure if she's on, but if she walks through the amendment, basically a lot of this would be all in session law. So it's nothing new that's statutory. And it's essentially session law that more or less reiterates statutory law and rules about career centers working together. And so this would permit the Hannaford Career Center to pay for a bus and send a bus down to Rutland County, most likely to Otter Valley High School, which is just south of Brandon, to pick up kids and bring them up to Middlebury, where the Hannaford Career Center is. It would require the Stafford Center to provide the legally required amount of information about the students who are on their wait lists to the Hannaford Career Center. And it would allow the Hannaford Career Center to adjust their tuition mid-year to accommodate or to take into consideration that increase in enrollment. Right now, the Hannaford Career Center has a really high tuition rate because they're under-enrolled, and it's based on the number of students there. So if they are able to get 50 more students, 100 more students, 200 more students, that would significantly decrease their tuition because, well, you know how the math works. So they would just have more kids for the same amount of cost. So it would benefit the students a lot. It would benefit the school districts that send their kids there. It would benefit both centers and would just provide more comprehensive career and technical education. So Senator Williams and I went and did a tour. I've been multiple times, but we most recently did a tour a couple weeks ago, last week, I believe, and met with the director of the Hannaford Career Center, and she requested this type of an amendment. And so we worked together with Beth to get it drafted. So that's the story, and I can go through the language, or you can just have that. I don't know if Beth's able to.
She's still on appropriations.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, it defines receiving and sending districts, which I know you're familiar with. And just said, secondary students may apply for enrollment into programs at CTE centers. It's on the first page. And then it says beginning in this school year, that the CTE center itself may provide transportation. Basically, they were like, it is worth it financially for us to, get a bus, rather than relying on the sending school districts to provide the bus. They feel like they would have enough kids and it would pay for itself. And that any changes would be able, that in their tuitions, they would be able to make. And they pay tuition, or they receive tuition payments from school districts every October and every March. So they could charge the rate, half the rate in October, and then make any adjustments they need to in the March payment. So either reimburse or reduce the rate for the March payment. So I think it's easy to work it out after all the students are figured out.
How does the sending district feel about it?
I think that might be more of a question for Senator William.
I haven't talked to them, and I can do that.
Because that becomes a loss.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
money's
yeah.
gonna follow that child.
Well, and the thing is, they've acknowledged that they can't fill the seats, so they can't provide seats for the students that want to be there. I think one of the conflicts may be the calendars, but that's a problem CTE wide anyway.
Mhm.
Because you got different sending schools that are on different calendars, so,
Hopefully we're gonna take care of that.
and we're gonna take care of that, so.
So the committee knows, we sent this to the superintendent room, we sent it to the AOE and sent it to the chair of the House Education Committee just to invite any feedback and have any red flags raised now, so that it doesn't end up being an issue with the all 480. So I heard back from chair of the House Education Committee saying he does not see an issue, so he went down.
Yeah, I talked to him as well.
So we'll wait and see what reaction we get from the other two.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for what the Rutland School District might think, and I just was talking to our people. But the AOE hopefully will be fine with it because it is literally just reinstating current law and current rule. Some of it's in rule, some of it's in the law. So it's mostly just giving Hannaford and Rutland, Stafford a tool to be like, hey, look, this really is something we could do.
This will definitely define that the child's education, student's education comes first over money.
Yeah.
I asked if there was a problem, with instructors. If we add another 200, and they said no, they can accommodate. And they have instructors enough to accommodate all the.
Yeah.
When this was raised in other forums, I know folks said, oh, well, we would let them go, but they'd have to find their own transportation.
Right.
And that's a really frustrating thing
Yeah.
to hear because it's a lot of kids who are probably, needing to get that break so that they can earn some money. So I think the transportation piece is really lovely.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the first things that Senator Williams and I asked about. What about transportation? And the director was like, I will pay for a bus.
That's
It would
really
be
great.
worth it. So, yeah, and I think that there's also wait lists at the CTE centers up in your area.
Yeah.
So there was conversation about, we could send a bus to Charlotte or Shelburne and pick up kids from there. But this is specific to these two, just to see how it goes. Yeah. Maybe.
So what makes it specific to these two?
That's a good question. And now that I say that, it doesn't actually say specifically Rutland or Addison. So I suppose it could be for any of them. So you're right, Mr. Chair. Yeah.
So it appears to be a statewide solution for a regional problem. And in light of that, I would recommend we also send a copy of this to, isn't there a CTE association?
Yeah, there is the Association of CTE Directors.
Yeah, let them at least, feel included in the process. So if there's something we're not aware of, again, dealing with a regional issue, but with a statewide solution.
Yeah, I do want to just reiterate, this is current law. So
Mhm.
it's not a change. It's basically just a highlight of current law. and rules. So, and Beth can speak to that more because she drafted it, did the research on it. But I'm happy with you sharing it, obviously, with whomever you feel comfortable. Just let me know, because I was going to send it up to the secretary. To let, if you're all okay with it, to let them know and get it in the calendar, but I can also wait. We do it on third reading too. It's just, you let me know what you prefer. And
Yeah, well,
three of the sponsors are on the committee, so.
it's up to the committee, might make sense to wait a day or two and see what feedback we get, see if we get anything that
Okay.
is more than we think it is. I mean, yeah. Sometimes things come out of nowhere, but
I mean, I support the idea, but have no issue with
that, yeah.
getting more feedback with the on-site side.
Okay,
The use of 83 was the last year that Otter Valley sent students up to CTE.
1983.
Mhm.
Really? Been that long? I thought it was more recent.
Only reason I know that is one of the persons that was in the class with me, he had to drive himself up there because they'd stop busing students.
Wow.
We talked about that when we worked together.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I know.
I knew that historically kids from Otter Valley had come up, so I wondered when it had stopped. I thought it was more recent than that, but wow.
Otter Valley had some of its own CTE facilities for a while. Right.
Uh-huh.
That kind of languished for whatever reason.
Yeah, but if you haven't, have you been to the Hannaford Center? Yeah, if you haven't, you should go check it out, especially if we can make this work, because it's really, the facilities are really nice. They just did a major renovation. So, and they passed a bond. So when people are talking about bonds only being up in Chittenden County, there was a bond
$8
passed,
million.
more fairly, like 3 years ago, I think, to pay for this renovation. It's really quite nice.
We should do a field trip.
Yeah, like they would love that if you all did a field trip there.
And we tried to do a couple field trips and never.
Snow.
Yeah, they're building a tiny home in the old bus garage. It's the second one that they're building. Terry and I walked around in it, and they have a really amazing food program. So every time, one thing that's really nice is if you do an official trip there during the school year, almost always they'll feed you. And the Glass Onion is their restaurant, and it's really good. Yeah. And they have a childcare program. They have a medical program for like free med that is integrated with the Porter Medical Center nursing program. They have welding, natural resources, agriculture. They have the whole, automotive, all of it. So it's a great place. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend, you guys. Thanks a lot.
So I think that's it. So the miscellaneous bill will hit Tuesday. No, notice. It's make notice today.
It's on.
Notice today, so it'll hit Tuesday.
So or Tuesday.
We're on Tuesday,
So,
thanks.
Talk to you in the morning. I'll have it all and see what you think.
But we can. I think that's it.
It's always okay to put down now. That's what I was taught.
I didn't realize I was supposed to do it. They had just started it. And I could have just asked them.